What's up? What's up? This must be old news, Marcus. I don't know how you be getting old news. What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to my live. If this is your first time on my live, please make sure you like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. On this channel, one thing we talk about is geoeconomics, and sometimes we deal with the travel space. If you're on here for the first time, so I got some geoeconomic news for you today that we're going to talk about of what's going on over there in Venezuela. I see that 3 people on the live so far. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody have a Merry Christmas. I hope everything goes well for everybody. I'm showing 3 people in so far. Just going to wait for a moment till more people come in. Joseph, what's up, man? How you doing, man? I'm still hanging in there, brother. Yep, I'm still hanging in there. Good to see you, Joseph. How have you been, sir? I hope everything's going well. Doing good. Very well. Very well. I am glad to see you. I am glad to see you, Joseph. Joseph, one thing about you, you've always been a um a good supporter. Yeah, I'm feeling a little better. They're gonna have to do um another test. They called me. I'm gonna have what you call a PET scan. They're gonna turn my body into a Christmas tree. Yeah, for the prostate cancer. They just want to see where it's located at. So far, when I had the MRI, they couldn't see no imaging of it. So it's a very small cancer. But that PET scan is very, I heard it's very detailed. So I'll be having that test done January 6th. And I definitely let you know. Yeah, I heard that Cardi B performed in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cardi B, she performed it. Yeah, I did hear about that. But the most news I've been hearing about is the Michigan coach that messed himself up. Man, he really messed himself up. The U of M football coach, Sharon, I think that's his name. I think his name is Sharon. Man, he really messed himself up, boy. I don't know what was on his mind or what he was thinking. I mean, you're making $30 million to have a beautiful wife and kids, and you just sacrificed that. You just blew it all away. Now that they filed criminal charges against him, he was in jail here. This is here in Michigan. The coach from Michigan, the University of Michigan, the football coach. Here it is. You are coaching one of the. You are coaching basically the number one. Is known as the number one football team in the country. Uh, um, U of M has like the highest. I mean, it's they have one of the biggest football programs in the country. I mean, you don't get no bigger than U of M. And he just threw it all away. He just threw it all away over some affair that he had with a female. So now they're talking about other things that he did. Now they filed criminal charges against him. He's out on bail right now. They arrested him. But that was really sad. That doesn't make any sense. And that's very shameful. I'd hate to see that a young brother that had everything going for himself and he just sell out just like that. Yeah, but the problem is he was involved with a woman. He knew better. Yeah, he got involved with one of the women that he worked with, and that's against his contract. That's against you don't date at work. You don't mess with those females at work. So he lost everything. So I don't know what they going. I don't know, but I know they filed criminal. He's caught up in some criminal stuff. So they did arrested him here in Michigan. I think in Macomb County here, if I'm not mistaken, and they let him out on bond. So he has to come back to court. I think at the beginning of the year or something like that. If he's guilty, he can do time. But did y'all see his wife? He had a beautiful wife. He had a beautiful. Why would you cheat on that? She was gorgeous. And you rich. You have it all, brother. Brother, you have it all. You threw it all away. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Chris. They are launching an investigation into the football program. So not only did he ruin it for himself, but he's ruining it for everybody else. He's ruining it for everybody else. I don't know what was on his mind. And you can't talk about race or anything like that. No, that's no excuse. Your conduct was horrible because you could not keep your Jimmy in your pants. That's the problem. And a lot of these guys, they get the money and they get the prestige and they let it go to them, let it go to their head. That's too bad. So, guys, what I want to talk to you about today, I just want to let you guys know if you guys want to join my wealth building as a membership, I'm telling you, it will be worth it. At the first of the year, I'm gonna start doing economic videos for the members of my channel. Trading and stuff. We're gonna do wealth building. Wealth building is extremely, extremely important. Okay, $2 a month is very cheap for what you're gonna be getting. Matter of fact, Eric. Matter of fact, if Eric, if you don't hear, thank you very, very much for the Cash App. Thank you very much, sir, for the Cash App. I really appreciate it, man. Eric has been so supportive of me on this channel. I never would have made this channel possible if it wasn't for Eric. And JD, you're another member on here. So beginning of January of next year, I'm going to be doing wealth building videos, and we're going to be doing trading on the stock market. I'm going to be using Robinhood as the platform that I'm going to use. That's what I use, Robinhood. But if you have E-Trade, if you have a Moomoo, if you have any other type of platform that you use to trade, it's okay. But I'm going to be using Robinhood, and we got to start talking about some wealth on this channel. And I'm going to show you how to trade, how to make dividends. The most important thing is having your money work for you. Having your money work for you. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an economist, but I'm just sharing with you all the knowledge that I wish I would have implemented 20 years ago. So what I'm doing here is trying to get you all to do this type of stuff now while you're young. Don't wait till my age. Don't wait till you get 60 or 50 years old and then all of a sudden like, wow, I should have been doing this. I want you guys to be ahead of the game, okay? And that's the reason why I'm doing this. But this is for my members only, members channel. And it will help support the channel. But trust me, you are going to get some excellent information. Not only are you going to get some really good information, economic information, but if there's something going on in the stock market, if there's a stock to be bought, if something going on in the financial system that you need to know about, you will have access to me. Okay? You will have access to me. So you can contact me on Instagram. What I'm probably going to end up doing, I'm going to start a WhatsApp group. Okay? And then we can correspond on WhatsApp about what's going on, and I'll let you know. Let's see what Mr. Marcus is talking about here. I told you that before, lots of people get lots of money and they never had it before, and it goes to their head. If you got money and fame, don't go cocky. Yeah, I know, that's true. They told you no disrespect. Not all money is good money. It's good money when it flows passively like for a time job. No pocket change. Pocket change is not passive. No, no, no. I'm not talking about pocket change. I'm talking about wealth building. I'm talking about something that's going to last between now and 20 years from now. And matter of fact, we need to be getting ready for the reset, the economic reset that's getting ready to happen, in which I'm getting ready to talk about today on this channel. So when I'm talking about wealth building, I'm not talking about getting rich quick. You're gonna make $500 in 1 week. You'll make 1,000. No, this is a gradual process that you trade on the stock market. You know what I'm saying? And you get dividends. You know what I'm saying? And you get residual incomes that can come. That's what I have. So I'm just sharing what I have with you because I did this before on this channel before. And you all say y'all wanted me to do this. I said, okay, I will do it, but I'm gonna do it on the membership channel. So if anybody want to join my membership, I'm telling you, it will be worth it. What can you lose? What can you lose? What can you lose? Okay? Because let me tell you something. Let me tell you guys something I saw the other day that completely blew my mind. It just completely blew my mind. Okay? I was on my way from work on Saturday because I work 12-hour shifts. Y'all know I work in the healthcare field, right? So I was coming back from the hospital, right? And the temperature was like 1 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 70. It was bitter cold. I'm talking about bitter, bitter, bitter cold here in Michigan, in Detroit. And as I was driving home, I was just seeing homeless people just walking around in the cold, man. It's 7-degree temperature, man. I was like, wow, this is so sad to see people out here just walking around in very cold, very frigid weather. And let me tell you something. Nobody cares what happens to you if you don't have no money, if you're not financially independent. My grandfather used to tell me, he used to lecture me 40 years ago about standing up on your own 2 feet. He used to tell me this 40 years ago. And it seemed like it was only yesterday. And it used to drive me crazy, crazy, crazy. He used to lecture me about, what you doing, boy? You need to stand up on your own 2 feet. You need to do this because nobody's gonna take care of you. You gotta know how to take care of yourself. May he rest in peace. 40 years ago, now today, I understand exactly what he was talking about. I finally see what he was talking about 40 years ago. And when I see all those homeless people out there walking around at the bus stop, stuff don't have nowhere to go. If you're not financially sound or independent. That could be either one of you, or it could be me. So that's what I'm trying to do on this channel, is to tell you guys the truth. Okay? That's all I'm trying to do. So I'm going to start it next year on the first week of January next year. So every week, Eric and JD will be getting a video from me about creating wealth for yourself. Because you guys not going to have Social Security. I'm telling you, you're not. You're not going to have Social Security. They say Social Security is going to be bankrupt within the next 20 to 30 years. No, sooner than that. We don't know what's going to happen. You said Michigan's one of the coldest states. Yeah, it's very cold here. Yes, you're right, Marcus. It is extremely cold. It is extremely cold. Right. But my portfolio is doing very good at Robinhood. And we're going to look at my portfolio. I'm going to show it to you, what I started off with. And these are stocks that's going to be around for a very long time. And not only domestic stocks, but we're going to be investing in international stocks too. We're going to be dealing with commodities. We're going to be dealing with the oil. We're going to be dealing with gold. We're going to be dealing with everything. In the next 10 years, when you look at this, you're going to be like, wow, Tony Rome was right. Tony Rome was right. Tony Rome was right. When you look at this for the next 10 years, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 years. But if everything stays the same, okay. So now we're going to jump into the live stream now. And what I'm getting ready to tell you guys, it's just my opinion. And a lot of other economists was looking at this, and professors was looking at this, what I'm getting ready to tell you. But I'm going to give you probably the real reason why the invasion of Venezuela is happening. I'm going to tell you the real reason why the invasion of Venezuela is happening. This is geoeconomics, which I'm getting ready to tell you all. Like I said, I'm not an economist. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving information that can help you. And when we get into this wealth building, these are the type of things, these are the type of videos that we're going to be talking about on the membership, okay? To let you know what to invest in and how to move your money around. I'm not getting into your business or anything. I'm just telling you what to do on your platform. Some of y'all may have your own platform. Like I said, you may have E-Trade, you may have Robinhood, you may have Moo, you may have some other type of brokerage account. But the trading is still the same. I'm still give you the same trading information of what you should be trading in. And these are long-term stocks. This is nothing, like I said, this is not a quick money scheme. It's not like you're going to be rich tomorrow. Oh, wow, I'm going to wake up with all this money and stuff. This is going to be long-term for you. Because if I would have done this 20 years ago, I would be in Brazil right now. You know what I'm saying? Money, making money. I would be in Colombia right now for Christmas with Cookie if I would have implemented this a long time ago. But I didn't know. I didn't know. It took me a while to mature to this point to where I am now. So I'm just giving this knowledge to you all. Okay? If you guys have any questions on the chat, just let me know. If you have any questions that you want to talk about, put it on the chat. Let me know. Okay? Okay. What is the reason why an American invasion of Venezuela? Okay. This is what you should know. Is that The petrodollar is dying. I don't know if you ever heard, I don't know if all of you ever heard of the petrodollar. Okay? I'm going to let you listen what the petrodollar is before we start. And this is very, extremely important. Hey, is anybody there? Y'all can still see me, can you? Okay, here we go. This is Kim Iverson. She's going to explain what the petrodollar is before we start. Okay? And this is very important. Is you guys still out there? Because I don't see nobody saying nothing on the chat. We got like 35 people out here, but nobody's not saying anything. I just want to know, do we still got a connection? Is y'all still out there? Let me know. Can y'all see me in the chat? Before. Okay, y'all listening. Okay. Yeah, give me some feedback. Y'all just sitting there so quiet. I don't know if y'all there or not, because sometimes I get disconnected. Okay, here we go. Okay, check this out.
Petrodollar agreement between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia has reportedly
What's up, babe?
So it was a 50-year agreement signed June 8th of 1974 with no reports of it being renewed, meaning as of June 9th, it's expired, as far as we understand. Now, the reports began circulating yesterday, but then those reports were backpedaled when people claimed
James.
that they came from an unverified source, which was a Twitter account called Bricks News, which is apparently notorious for posting some things that aren't accurate. And they posted about this petrodollar deal not being renewed on June 12th. So it was a little confusing about what was really going on. Was this renewed? Was it not?
Good to see you again, Jay.
We found this article from NASDAQ.com that was actually dated June 11th, reporting that the agreement had in fact ended after 50 years. So what is the petrodollar? Why did Saudi Arabia choose not to renew it? And what's going to happen now? Well, the petrodollar is a nickname given to dollars earned from oil exporting nations.
Hit that like button, everybody. Like, and subscribe to the channel.
When oil prices shot up and Saudi Arabia made a deal with the U.S. to sell oil exclusively in U.S. dollars. Now, this created a constant need for dollars worldwide because everybody needs oil. And to buy oil at that point, you needed dollars. So this agreement with Saudi Arabia boosted the dollar's value and it solidified its place as the top currency globally. So it is the world's reserve currency, much because of this petrodollar. Now, without the agreement, Saudi Arabia is now free to trade oil in whatever currency it wants. And this makes it easier for other countries, especially the sanctioned ones, to purchase oil in a currency that they have more access to. So either their own currency, like in the case of China and India, potentially Russia, or the currency of a country.
All right, Robert, okay.
So if you're Venezuela or if you're
this is gonna get good. This is gonna get good, y'all.
Iran, you might grab
Stay with me. This is gonna get good.
Or you might grab yourself some Russian rubles, and you might be able to then buy some oil from Saudi Arabia. I guess Venezuela shouldn't have to, right? Now, why did Saudi Arabia choose not to renew it? Probably for a variety of reasons. An obvious one is the changing global economy, especially with China rising as a major power. Saudi Arabia probably wants to diversify its economic partners and lessen its dependence on the U.S. economy. And by trading oil in currencies like the Chinese yuan, Saudi Arabia could build stronger ties with China, which has 5 times the people, more need for oil. U.S. sanctions is probably another big reason. The U.S. loves to use sanctions to try and hobble economies. The U.S. increasingly talks about sanctioning China, which if it's becoming the largest economy in the world with 5 times the people and 5 times the need for oil, why would Saudi Arabia want to limit how much money it can make by essentially limiting China's access because China can't get a hold of the dollars, right? So back in the 70s when Saudi Arabia made the petrodollar deal, the U.S. wasn't using sanctions as a weapon. But now, as the U.S. has increasingly used the dollar as a form of warfare, you can imagine that Saudi...
See, that's the problem. That's the first beginning of the problem. That's the reason the U.S. is in the problem that it's in right now. The biggest mistake that they made is using the dollar as a weapon. They never should have done that. They never should have done that.
Arabia sits there and wonders why in the world
That's the
we're
first
only
mistake.
accepting one method of payment that the world is increasingly being cut off from, right? Now, of course, Saudi Arabia didn't just sell oil for dollars for nothing. They got something out of the deal. So what are they giving up by allowing this deal to expire? Well, the deal in 1974 guaranteed Saudi Arabia's security
Yes, it
from their
does.
surrounding neighbors. We basically
Wait, it's
agreed
going to
to a
get
defense
good.
pact.
Stay with
We
me,
also
guys.
agreed to continue
We're breaking this
legitimizing the
down.
monarchy, keeping the Saudi
We're going
family
to break
in
this
power,
down.
no matter the moral criticism against them, no matter the fact that monarchies have lost their favor in the world. We've decided to continue legitimizing them and dealing with them. And they, of course, then gained access to tons of dollars, which were incredibly valuable and stable. They still are, to help them build their economy and develop their country.
Okay.
So what's going to happen now? That's the big question.
Okay.
Now that this deal looks like it's done, we could be staring down the barrel of a seismic shift in the global economic order.
There we go.
The petrodollar system collapses.
Yep.
The US dollar might lose its status as the world's primary reserve currency.
Okay.
This would mean less global demand for dollars,
Yep.
leading to a significant drop in its value. So picture this: higher inflation with less global demand.
That's what she said. Less demand for dollars. Remember I told you the petrodollar is dying, okay? So all this was related to what's happening in Venezuela, okay? We get ready to get to that. Just stay with me. Listen what she's saying.
Demand for the US dollar, its value would decrease. A weaker dollar means imports become more expensive, driving up prices and leading to inflation, which none of
Okay,
us
so the
want.
drink, I'll be back.
Skyrocketing interest rates to combat inflation and attract buyers for US debt. The Federal Reserve might raise interest rates. Higher interest rates would increase borrowing costs for consumers and businesses. And the collapse of the petrodollar could lead to an increased struggle for the US to finance its debt. With the dollar's diminished status, fewer countries would buy US Treasury bonds. The US would need to offer higher interest rates to attract buyers, making it more expensive to finance its debt. Basically, it's a nightmare scenario for us. So if this is so bad, then why are we not hearing about this all over the mainstream media?
Right, mainstream media is not going to tell you about
it's a
this.
well-documented agreement, the mainstream media has treated it sort of like a conspiracy theory, meaning the petrodollar has been blamed for numerous wars and poor foreign policy decisions very rightfully. And of course, to combat this, the mainstream media did what it always does, which is downplay it as a conspiracy theory. Not to mention, they probably assume the banks will work it out. You don't have to worry your pretty little head. They're going to be rolling out CBDCs soon, don't you know? Something like that. Plus, there's a possibility the two governments are still working out a new agreement. They have been in negotiations lately about some sort of another security pact that Biden wants to offer Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is probably asking for a lot of different things this time around, and the U.S. is asking for other things. For example, like normalization with Israel as part of the deal, possibly.
What's up, T Smooth?
So they could
What's
be just
up?
working it out. Also, the government sends directives to
Hit that
mainstream
like
media,
button,
so they probably
everybody,
told them to keep
on the
quiet.
chat.
We don't want the world knowing the dollar's about to become a lot less desirable. Shh. Just some guesses. Maybe the nightmare scenario will happen. Maybe it won't. A lot of it depends on how the world reacts. And since there's a stable currency, or since there isn't a stable enough currency at the moment to replace the dollar, the government might not see an urgent need to renew the deal.
No, you know what? Let me tell you.
Look, it's not going to collapse.
I'm not Biden or either Trump. This is not but the truth. I don't care whether you're Democrat, Republican, no matter who you are, it doesn't matter to me. I just bring the truth, okay? Because they're not going to tell you the truth. So this is not a Trump or Biden or anything like that. This is a systemic problem that has been going on for a very long time, and we finally got to this point. But I'm going to let you know the correlation between what's happening and what's happening with Venezuela.
Overnight, if they just get rid of this deal, it's still going to take a decade or two before we start to, I say that I should knock on wood. I've been wrong so many times when it comes to doomsday scenarios. I'm naturally optimistic. A fault, I suppose, or a positive. I don't know, however you want to look at it. I like to think it's positive that I'm so positive. So I tend to think that, the doomsday scenarios are not going to happen. I thought this with COVID when people were
Smooth, I
emailing me saying,
appreciate you too.
mandates are coming, mandates are coming. They're talking about vaccines, mandates are coming. I thought,
I
no way,
appreciate you
not
too,
America.
Smooth. Thank you for
No
coming.
way, no lockdowns,
Hit that
no
like button,
mandates, not
everybody. There's
America. It's just
85
not gonna
people in
happen. I
this
can't
in
see
this
my fellow
live.
Americans going for it.
Hit
And I
that
was
like
wrong,
button.
so wrong on that.
Helps the algorithm on YouTube.
I would think that we're not going to see a new reserve currency rising for probably another 8 to 10 years at minimum, but I could totally be wrong on that. The world is moving fast. Things move way faster nowadays than they did 10 years ago, even 20 years ago, certainly 40 or 50 years ago. Things are moving much quicker now with the digital age. So it could be that countries band together a lot faster and strengthen a different currency quicker. And even just the smallest amount of a dent going into the reserve currency. So let's say the United States dollar is still the reserve currency mostly. So instead of 100% world currency, we drop down to 70% world currency, reserve currency, because there's another currency that people are starting to take up, or even 25% or even 10%. We're going to feel that as Americans unless these banks start doing a bunch of other crap that they really shouldn't be doing to try to prevent the too big to fail scenario. But once we start getting to a 30% dent by another reserve currency, we will absolutely feel it. Yeah. And if it gets to 40% or 50% or worse, 50, more than 50%, then we absolutely will feel it. But we will feel it when there's another reserve currency that's at least 25 to 30% of the world reserve. That's gonna be a wake up call for America, and we will have to have a different strategy. At the end of the day, it's in Saudi Arabia's best interest as a country to open up their reserve currency, open up the deal to a bunch of other reserve currencies, because they could see the writing on the wall. The United States is using all these sanctions. Other countries are getting together. You've got BRICS rising up together. You've got so in Saudi Arabia is looking at this and thinking, we don't want to just accept one form of payment. We've got to have more than one. Here we go. Available.
We're getting there.
From the United States perspective, our leaders are so stupid. Had they just left the dollar politicized and
that's what I'm talking about.
Using it for sanctioning and just said that's a whole different thing than our political realm, our foreign policy realm. That's monetary. That has nothing to do with politics or foreign policy. We wouldn't be in this situation. I think the world would be fine using US dollars as the reserve currency forever, indefinitely, so as long as it wasn't somehow weaponized. But it's been weaponized, and here we are now, a bunch of countries, large countries, Russia and China, major countries.
Saying, the tariffs is going to be,
are not trusted to be the custodians of the world reserve currency. We got to make change. And Saudi Arabia sees the writing on the wall and says, China's 3 times her size. What are we going to do? So that's that. It does look like it has so far been expired, but yet to be seen. We don't know if the two countries are talking and if they're going to come up with some other agreement. If I were Saudi Arabia, I'd be asking for a lot. And that's not good for us. But it is what it is. We have just really, really idiotic leadership in this country, unfortunately. Thank you for watching this clip from...
Yeah, we got idiotic. We got poor leadership. We really actually do. And let me tie this into the Venezuela situation. Okay, what she said, well, you just understood what she said about the petrodollar. Okay, this is agreement that was done with OPEC countries, to sell their oil into dollars. Okay, now this is the problem with Venezuela that I'm going to tell you guys. The reason why we got a third of our naval fleet in Venezuela. Do I think it has something to do with narcos or anything like that? No, I don't. This is a problem. America is desperate to make a deal because they need Venezuelan oil. They need it, okay? This is the big problem that we're facing. The Secretary of Treasury's name is Scott Bessent. He needs to borrow $3 trillion. Okay? He needs to borrow. That's what the Secretary of Treasury, that's his job. It's not just to oversee the economy, but to find customers. Okay? What do I mean by finding customers that who wants to buy U.S. debt? Okay, that's what his job is. But this is the biggest problem that we have right now. This is the biggest problem we have. There are no buyers. There are no buyers. Japan used to be one of our biggest buyers, but they can't buy anything. China used to be one of our biggest borrowers, but they can't give us anything. So where do we go? Because we have a debt-based system. Everything is basically, we sell you treasuries, you give us your money to pay our bills. That's the problem that we have, okay? But the U.S. is waging war against two countries, Venezuela and China. Okay? And China is one of our biggest borrowers, excuse my language. And they own a lot of U.S. debt. But what they're doing is systematically, they are liquidating. They are liquidating. So this is when Venezuela comes into play. Venezuela is a OPEC country. Venezuela is an OPEC country. But Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world, more than Saudi Arabia. They have more oil than Saudi Arabia. I was like, wow, Venezuela got that much oil and other resources? Let me tell you this, if this deal with Venezuela fails, the American economy stops. And the U.S. has been trying to collapse the Venezuelan economy with regime change. You cannot have an OPEC country that large. Now, let me tell you what happened last year. That's going to blow your mind. Nicolas Maduro was at the BRICS meeting in Kyrgyzstan, Russia last year. He was there. So, we have sanctions on Venezuela. Venezuela cannot export anything. They cannot sell anything because they have U.S. sanctions on their economy. But what some countries are doing, they are going around the dollar. So what Nicolas Maduro, what he did was he made a deal with Russia and he made a deal with China, saying, okay, you know what? We don't have to sell our stuff in dollars anymore. We don't have to do that. We can sell it in yuans, the Chinese yuan or the rupee or other currencies. And the U.S. said, hell no, you're not going to do that. Because if Venezuela leaves the petrodollar, we're screwed. So who's going to buy U.S. debt? They sanctioned the oil, but it didn't work. China continued to buy from India. So what they did was to get mad at Maduro, they froze all of his assets. But the sanctions didn't work, though. The sanctions they put on him did not work. There is a new multipolar world that's happening now. And I think the biggest mistake what they made is use the dollar as a weapon. It's like, how can I say? You do what we tell you to do. If you don't, we're gonna take this, we're gonna freeze this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna freeze your bank accounts, we're gonna do this. So all these other countries, it's like they're afraid. I'm gonna give you all my reserves, and then within a snap of the finger, you can freeze it all. Bullying doesn't work. It doesn't work. Bullying doesn't work. So Maduro went around the sanctions and started selling oil to China and to Russia and to India and to all the other BRICS countries. So what keeps the U.S. up at night is that Venezuela started selling this oil in another currency like the Chinese yuan. Matter of fact, in 2018, I forgot to tell you guys that China signed an agreement with Saudi Arabia called the Petro Yuan. I remember when that happened back in 2018. But you know what? This is a systematic problem. I can't blame, this is not Trump's fault. This is not Biden. This goes all the way back from multiple administrations. How we messed this up. So I'm just not going to blame it just on one person. But me personally, Trump is making it worse. Why is that? Because the more you threaten people, the more that you act like you got a leash, using the dollar as a leash, the more people is going to try to find alternative ways to get around the dollar. And they're doing it. As a matter of fact, China just created a new payment system. Well, I don't think it's new, but they just introduced a new payment system in Africa that they could do cross-border trading without the US dollar. This is happening right now. So let's say if I'm in Zimbabwe and I want to make a purchase in Uganda, the old way that you had to trade in dollars, then you had to go through the SWIFT. They have a system what the West and the US use. It's called the SWIFT system. Everything goes through the SWIFT system. Okay. When you use your credit card, that's part of the SWIFT system because you put your card in the machine processes the debit that you're making the purchase. It goes through your bank and then it goes through New York, through the SWIFT system, and it routes to that bank. It goes through the whole type. It's a system that each purchase goes through to make a purchase, which is a dollar denominated system. But now African countries are saying, why do we need to go through the dollar system? And it takes a long time to make a purchase or to make a trade that we have to go through this system. So now they're coming out with their own cross-border trading application. I can't remember the name of it. It's like a digital currency. So if you're in Zimbabwe, you want to make a purchase in Uganda or whatever, you don't have to go through the SWIFT system anymore. But you know what? The US does have oil, but it's the wrong type of oil. It's not that real good crude oil. That real good crude oil that Saudi Arabia has and that Venezuela has. Because America needs crude oil to process to make diesel fuel. And you know how important diesel is. All the trucking, everything, the supply chain, everything works on diesel. How do you think Walmart gets its supplies? How do you think Costco's get their supplies? It's through trucking, and trucking uses diesel fuel. But deals are happening as we speak right now. Yeah, you're right. The debt is going to cook us. It's done. Let me read some of these comments here. The biggest than Trump debt is going to cook the U.S. Yeah, yeah. Easy. What's up, Easy? What's up, brother? King James. What's up? Everybody hit that like button and subscribe, okay? There's over almost close to 100 people in this chat. I got 5 likes, man. Y'all do that for me. Hit that like button and subscribe. Hit that like button and subscribe, okay? Thank you. Oh, wow, you in Peru? Holy crap. Man, you get around, man. Wow, you in Peru. Wow, wow, wow. You know what? You know what? We got to get together, do another live, okay? I'm going to, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use StreamYard. Guys, if you ever see my notifications on StreamYard, please jump on, okay? You said you didn't like Brazil. Oh, wow, wow. Oh, wow, wow. David, you're absolutely right. It is impossible for man to comprehend the immensity of God's power. You are absolutely right, brother. You are absolutely right. Easy. I changed. I didn't. Wow, you didn't like Brazil. Wow. I never heard nobody say they didn't like Brazil. All those beautiful girls in Brazil. Wow. But Brazil could be very dangerous, though. I got one more. Okay, you said Brazil didn't have your vibe. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, that happens. That's why I love Medellin, Colombia. I love that place. I love the weather. I love the chicas. I love them all. I love everything about that. Everybody said, "Why you go to Medellin all the time?" It just to me, I just love the vibe of the country, and I love the weather too. Okay, I want you guys to listen to this other guy. He's a professor, and he's talking about the same thing that I've been telling you guys about. Okay, but the reason why we got this drama in Venezuela has nothing to do, I believe, with narcos at all. Any drugs probably coming out of there? Probably. But there's something much more that they're not telling you, and this is what they're not telling you. Okay?
Sale. Today we are going to look at the 2 desperate deals happening behind closed doors. The oil deal in Venezuela and the debt deal with China. Because if either of these deals fails, the American economy does not just recession, it stops. Let us start with the humiliation in Caracas. If you want to understand how weak the American empire has become, you do not need to look at the GDP numbers. You just need to look at who they are shaking hands with. 5 years ago,
You say, I like to change Maduro, and Venezuela also don't like Maduro. Most of them do. Most of them do like Maduro. Let me tell you something. I don't like Maduro, or I don't dislike Maduro. My thing is, it's their country. It's a sovereign country, period. You don't have to like Trump. You don't have to like Biden, but this is our country. And nobody has the right to tell us what to do. That's the part that I look at. I don't look at, I'm not saying that he's perfect or anything. I'm not pro Maduro. I'm not pro anybody. I'm pro right and wrong. Well, that's what they say. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say. That's what they say. He said, I don't know. I don't know what he is, but Venezuela is still a sovereign country. Because we had election problems, but Trump said that they cheated on him. Biden cheated on him. Then we turn around and say that we cheated on him. And they say that Trump cheated on. I mean, it goes back. It never stops.
The United States declared that Nicolas Maduro was not the president of Venezuela. They recognized a man named Juan Guaido. They froze Venezuela's bank accounts. They seized their airplanes. They even put a $15 million bounty on Maduro's head like he was a cowboy outlaw in a Western
Absolutely, James. It's the oil. It comes down to money. It doesn't matter who's in there.
Force a regime change and take control of the world's largest oil reserves.
It's the oil.
So, what happened? Maduro is still there, but the American oil strategy is dead. You see, the United States made a catastrophic miscalculation. They assumed that if they sanctioned Venezuelan oil,
I didn't hear about no ISIS trade. I hear about ISIS everywhere. They say they're in Syria. They say they're in Libya. They say ISIS is here. So I don't know. But the only thing I'm doing here is giving you facts. It's not Democrat, Republican, nothing. I'm not into that party thing. I just bring you the facts.
And increasingly for USDT crypto. By sanctioning them, the U.S. forced Venezuela to build a financial immune system. They proved to the world that you can sell oil without Washington's permission. And now the tables have turned.
Because let me ask you a question. Why is all this happening now? Why now? Why is Venezuela under so much pressure now? Nobody didn't even talk about this last year. No, all of a sudden, oh man, we got all these drugs and stuff coming from Venezuela. We got all this stuff. We got to have regimes. We got to get them out now. We got to get them out now. You know, what about 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Lou Weaver, what's up? What's up, Lou? It's called laxism. Okay, I've never heard of that before. Yeah, I've been hearing they talk about their advices everywhere. What I'm bringing you is true facts, brother. I do one thing I do on this channel. I do my research, man, before I say anything, and I don't pick sides. It's not conservative or liberal, Democrat, Republican. None of that stuff matters to me. But I know what matters to them, and that's money. Everybody, you know what, James? Everybody has the right to trade whoever they want to. See, that's the difference. That's why the world is, we're creating a multipolar world. It's not just Venezuela, but you got Brazil, Russia, China, South Africa, Burkina Faso. We are living in a different world that people want to take their own economic situation into their own hands. They want to be able to trade who they want to be able to trade with. That's all I'm saying. Like if I want to trade with you, it should be between me and you. But the problem was happening, what I'm trying to show you is that they use the dollar as a weapon. Because when Russia invaded Ukraine, and when they put all these sanctions on Russia, okay, when they put all these sanctions on Russia, they froze their reserves. $300 million of Russian reserve was frozen instantly, just like that. It shouldn't be used that way. It's just like James, it's just like me and you have beef with each other, right? And I'm holding $1 million of reserves that you invested in me, that I'm holding for you in my bank. And then me and you have beef with each other. We disagree. Then I just freeze and say, oh, guess what? You're not getting your money back. It shouldn't be that way. So so when they do that, when they do that, it creates uncertainty. So other countries are looking, say, oh my God, they just froze their reserves just like that. They may do the same thing to me if I disagree with them. Because the most important thing that keeps the financial system, that keeps the integrity of the financial system and keeping it together. Guess what that is? Put it in the chat if y'all know what I'm talking about. What is the number one important thing that you must have when you do trade or you're dealing in the financial system? What is the most important thing you have to have? $1 million question. Put it in the chat. What do you think? Yeah, that's why Russia when they put this, you know what, Morgan, that's why when they had sanctioned Russia, it didn't affect the economy at all. Because they was doing trade outside the dollar even before they put the sanctions on them. Russia and China does trade with each other 100% in their own currencies, the ruble and the yuan. They don't need the dollar. The most important thing in the financial system, this is very important, and once you lose that, it's over. It's called trust. Trust. Once you break that trust, it's over. It's just like being married to your wife for 30 years or 25 years, whatever. The minute that you cheat on her, she will never trust you again, ever. She may forgive you, but she will never trust you again. Never. Bricks, absolutely, bricks, right, right. And this is happening as we speak. Matter of fact, this is another mistake that Trump is making. And I just don't talk about him, I talk about them all. I'm not just talking about him, I talk about them all. When he did the tariffs, let me tell you another mistake that Trump made. He did this. Let me tell you what he did. And I'm not saying I'm pro-Trump or against Trump. I'm not saying nothing bad about him. I'm talking about economics here. This is what I'm talking about. And these are the type of subjects and things that we're going to be dealing with in my wealth building. So make sure y'all join my membership, man. So y'all be getting all this information. Okay. Trump was doing all the tariffs. He put tariffs on Mexico. He's put tariffs on China. He's put tariffs on everybody. 25% tariffs here, 25%, 50% tariffs. He was doing these tariffs. But this is one big mistake that he made. A lot of farmers in the United States, one of the biggest exports that we have in this country that we sell to China is called soybean. Okay? China was our number one buyer of soybeans. Let me tell you what Trump did. And this is where he messed up. He put tariffs on the soybeans. So we're going to put a 25% tariff. Oh, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he said he's going to put tariffs on the soybean. Guess what China did? They said, okay, we don't want your soybean. We go to Brazil. We buy soybeans from Brazil with zero tariffs. And guess what happened to the farmers? Guess what happened to the farmers? They went bankrupt. And they got angry, man. So you don't have to buy soybeans from us. You can buy from Brazil, you can buy from Africa. So China decided to buy their soybeans from Brazil and buy some of it from Africa and the BRICS countries. Left us in the cold. So he had to go back and beg and ask Xi Jinping, because y'all start buying soybeans from our farmers. Everything is going down. So yeah, the monetary, it's going down. It's going down. The whole monetary system is going down. It's going to be a reset. It's going to happen. A reset. I don't know when this is going to happen, but it's going to happen. And that's why, and this is some of the other things we're going to talk about in my wealth building. You got countries are stocking gold like you have never seen it before. Gold is going to become a really special commodity to have. Because let me tell you something, gold is real money. And I will advise everybody on this chat, add gold to your portfolio. It's sound money, right. I remember, I remember back in 2000, what was that? 2014 or 13, I remember. See, this is why I'm giving you all this information now. I wish I would have been on top of this back then. I remember that an ounce of gold was only $500. I remember. And people was back then saying, stock up on gold because gold's going to go up. It's going to go up. It's going to go up. It's going to triple its value. I remember when it was $500 an ounce for gold. That was back in 2013, 2012. I remember. Here it is in 2025. I think an ounce of gold is over $5,000 an ounce. You will never lose on gold. Never. It will lock in your wealth buying gold. Okay? Yeah, the dollar is, it's going down. Yeah, it's all just a matter of time before all this house of cards come apart. And that's what the Secretary of Treasury is doing. He's trying to find buyers. Like, who wants to buy dollars? Nobody wants dollars anymore. If they lose Venezuela, it's over for the U.S. economy. It's done. Because they have no more buyers. Nobody wants to buy U.S. debt anymore. It's not the thing anymore. So that means that entitlement's not going to be paid. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, defense, all that. So where's all that money going to come from? I would buy gold than land. I would buy gold than to buy land. Gold is yours. You own it. It's yours. Nobody can tax it. Nobody can take it away from it. It's yours. It's physical. Just like this glass cup here. It's a physical commodity that all of you should own. It's gold. It's yours. But I do own some gold stocks that's doing extremely well. Gold mining. See, that's one thing we'll be talking about on my wealth building. Make sure y'all join my membership on here, so y'all get all this information, so we can start building wealth and get ready for the reset. Oh, Gordak, what's up, man? Brother, I'm hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in. I gotta have a we talked about prostate cancer the other day. In case some of you guys know, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I'm feeling better. I'm not in much pain as I was before. But they're gonna do I remember I told you, but they're gonna do the PET scan pretty soon. January 6th, they're gonna do the PET scan. And I'll let you guys know how that goes, okay? Yeah. See how many people in the chat now? Got 28 people now. Okay, we got 28 people now. Wow, we got this is much more people I had in a very long time.
While the U.S. has plenty of oil in Texas, it is the wrong kind of oil. It is light sweet crude. But the massive American
34 people,
refineries
yeah.
on the Gulf Coast
We had almost
were
100 not too
built
long
50
ago.
years ago to process heavy sour crude. Without that heavy oil, the refineries choke. They cannot produce enough diesel.
Yeah, it was 70. Yeah.
Supply chain stops.
That's a cool thing.
So we see the unthinkable. American
Yeah.
diplomats are quietly going back to Caracas. They are issuing waivers to companies like Chevron to
Yep.
pump oil in Venezuela again. They are offering debt relief. They are essentially begging the man they tried to overthrow to please turn the pumps back on. This is not diplomacy. This is surrender. It proves that when push comes to shove, the United States needs the global South's resources more than the global South needs
Yep,
the United
that's
States'
it.
permission. But if the situation in Venezuela is embarrassing, the situation in Washington is absolutely terrifying.
I'm trying. Yeah, this is a good live. You're right, Marcus.
The Treasury
I'm trying,
is
brother.
begging for cash.
I
This
am
is where the
trying.
new Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, finds himself in a trap. The American public thinks the Treasury Secretary's job is to manage the economy.
You hear
It
that?
is not.
No, it's not.
His job is to be a salesman.
Mhm.
Every single year, the U.S. government spends trillions more than it taxes. To fill that giant hole, they have to sell paper, U.S. Treasury bonds.
Mhm.
For decades, this was the easiest job in the world. The entire planet lined up to buy American debt because it was considered risk-free. But this year, the math has broken. The United States needs to sell $3 trillion in new debt just to survive the next 12 months.
Yep.
And the question Mr. Bessent has to answer is, who is going to buy it? He looks at Japan, traditionally the biggest buyer.
Yeah.
But Japan is in a currency crisis.
Yeah.
They are not buying American debt.
They ain't buying it
They're
either.
selling it to
Nope.
save their own yen. He looks at Europe. They are stagnant.
Europe
fighting
is
their own
broke.
recession. He looks at the American banks.
Europe is
They are
broke.
already stuffed full of government paper, sitting on
Let me
unrealized losses.
pause this for a minute.
There is only one buyer left on the...
Europe is the cause of their own problems. Europe is the cause of their own problems. They're in recession right now, and the economy is not growing at all. The economy is not growing at all. The European economy is not growing at all. Very, very little. They are in recession. And they're probably going to be continued in the recession because they made a mistake. Let me tell you this. Some of y'all probably going to disagree with me. But when they tried to sanction Russia, okay, which was a big mistake, Europe was getting cheap energy from Russia, natural gas and oil, cheap. Okay? Then the Nord Stream pipeline was destroyed. In order to have a robust economy, you have to have cheap energy, cheap oil and cheap gas, but they cut themselves off. It's just like me going to the gas station, and I had a good relationship with that gas station. I said, okay, I'm going to pay $2 a gallon for gasoline. You know, it kept money in my pocket. I could buy groceries. I could do things because I'm buying cheap gasoline. All of a sudden, I have beef with that gas station. I'm just saying, for example, I have beef with that gas station. So I turn around, instead of making things right with that gas station, I go to somebody else that will sell me the same thing, but guess what? They sell it to me for $4 or $5 a gallon. That's the same thing. That's what happened to Europe. That's what happened to Germany. That's a very stupid mistake. They was getting cheap energy from Russia. So now they in a situation right now they can't get themselves out of. I'm just bringing you facts. I don't make none of this stuff up. No Democrat, no Republican, no this, no that. I'm not talking about no leader or anything like that. I'm just telling you what's on paper. Just plain common sense. If I was going to a gas station, I was paying $2 a gallon for gas, and I have beef with that gas station, I go to somebody else, I say, you know what, forget you, screw you, you know, and they go to somebody else, say, guess what? Oh, I buy your gasoline for $7 a gallon. I'm never going to have no money. Energy is very expensive. Natural gas is very expensive. It can be expensive. It can. Especially when you're a business owner. If you have a restaurant and everything, you know, if you have a restaurant that you use natural gas to fire up the grills and stuff like that. And what happens? If you pay higher for energy, you're gonna pass that cost on to the consumer. So instead of paying $6 for a hamburger and French fries for a combo, now you have to charge them $20 for a hamburger and French fries in a combo. That hurts businesses. If you hurt businesses, what's going to happen? You're going to lay off people. If you lay off people, what happens? There's less money going into the economy. Just common sense. I'm not even an economist, and I know that. Yeah, you're going to pay more as a citizen, right? Yeah, it's just common sense. It's just common sense. And Russia, and they think they think they're hurting Russia, but they're not. Russia's all tied up with the BRICS, with the global South. He could go to India, he could go to Brazil, he can go to China, especially China. Oh, China, oh my God, oh my goodness. Man, let me tell you something. China has a very sophisticated economy and a very sophisticated supply chain. And guess who control most of 90% of the rare earth minerals to make computer chips? That powers AI, all that stuff. Guess who owns most of it? China. And they're not playing, man. Those, I could sit here and do a whole another live just on China by itself. What they're doing over there. They have a very sophisticated supply chain. They got everything on lockdown, everything. I don't know when it's going to. They're trying to do something, but there's nothing the U.S. really can do because it's going to happen. The multipolar world is going to happen, regardless if you want it to happen or not. It's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it. It's going to happen. What we need to be doing is like saying, okay, let's all sit down. Let's all come together. Maduro, opposition, Russia, China. How can we all benefit from this? That's what they need to be doing. If I was president, that's what I would be doing. I'd be saying, let's all sit down. Maduro, Putin, Xi Jinping, everybody, the BRICS. If I was president of the United States, that's what I'd be doing. I said, I know we're going into a multipolar world now, but I won't have no big club in my hands like, you better do what we tell you to do. Pow! If you don't do it, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. That pushes people away even further away. That's what it does. It pushes people away. It's just like, think about this. It's just like you're in a relationship, right, with your wife or girlfriend, right? Y'all living in a house together. You want her to stay there with you, but you're constantly screaming at her all the time. You're constantly making her feel bad all the time. You do this because you want her to stay, but at the same time, you're pushing her out the door. She's going to leave you eventually. It's the same thing. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. The internet changed the world. You're right, Easy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, regime change. Right. That's what they're trying to do. Right. They need the petrodollar in Venezuela. That's the name of the game. They got to have it there. They can't have the largest OPEC producing oil country going in the complete direction of the BRICS. Because Maduro was at the BRICS meeting in 2024 when they had it in Russia. He was there and he was making deals. But at the same time, they had sanctions. The West, the U.S., had sanctions on Venezuela for a long time. And people eventually going to get tired. They got sanctions on Cuba. They got sanctions on a whole lot of other countries. They say, you know what? There have to be another way of doing business, of doing trade. So this is when they're creating this multipolar environment that's happening with the BRICS and other countries and African countries. Africa is right now at the moment is doing, no, not experimenting, but they are implementing cross-border payment systems outside the dollar. Like South Africa, matter of fact, they just what did they do the other day? They just said they're gonna start doing trade with the yuan instead of the dollar because they treat South Africa so bad. You can't bully your way out of this. You just can't do it. Let's see. Yeah, why can't people just live up? That's what I'm saying. Everybody needs to come, but you have one person. You got one particular. I'm not gonna mention their name. You probably know who it is, but they just want to bully everybody. The U.S. got to stop bullying people. They got to stop. Because you're just pushing people away. You're thinking that you're doing something, that you think that's beneficial, but it's not. Yeah, it's called wanting you, but not wanting you, or not knowing how to keep you. Absolutely, yeah. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Absolutely. But they got to make up their mind. So what's happening in Venezuela right now. And I think the biggest thing that really hurt them was hurting the U.S. too. Also, I'm just giving some opinions. I'm not saying nothing bad. I'm just giving opinions. Those boat strikes in the Caribbean. That was, oh my God, man. Oh my God. And you got everybody that see these boat strikes. You got all these other countries that see this, pushing people away. Me, if I would have done, if I'm doing war on drugs or anything like that, I'm seeing boats that have drugs, whatever. We've been dealing with, drug trafficking for a long time in this country. Just send the Coast Guard. You surround the vessel, you board the vessel, and you take them in and give them due process. That's the right way how you should do it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, but we're headed down and not in a very good direction. I think we're running out of time. I think so. I just feel that we're just running out of time. We have to change. You know what I'm saying? We got to change. We all got to come together. We all got to live together. But nobody wants to talk to each other, though. Nobody wants to talk. Oh, I got a troll on here. Of course, I got a troll. Hey, make sure y'all like and subscribe to my channel. I just want to thank too, Eric. Thank you very much for the Cash App that you sent the other day. Thank you very much for help supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so make sure if you guys want to join my membership, join. Please do it. You're going to get a lot of information that I just gave you today, okay? Yeah, we had a very good live today. Very good live today. I hope you guys got something out of this live stream. I really appreciate everybody for coming. I hope you got something out of it. And I keep you guys addressing on the prostate cancer, okay? Yeah, we live in interesting times. It's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get real crazy. It's gonna get real crazy. We haven't seen nothing yet. But I think, me personally, I think we're running out of time. I think we're running out of time. I'm gonna let y'all listen just a little bit more what the professor has to say.
Planet with deep enough pockets to bail out the United States, China. And this is the absolute comedy of the American position. On one hand, you have the politicians screaming.
Yeah, it's going to be a collapse, Abe. It's going to happen.
Threats of 60%
it's coming.
Tariffs. You have generals.
When? I don't know, but it will happen.
But quietly behind closed doors, the Treasury Secretary.
You'll need more than Ibn made, brother.
And call Beijing. He has to say, please do not sell our bonds. In fact, please buy more. Because if China decides to stop buying, or worse, if they decide to liquidate the hundreds of billions of dollars of US debt they already hold, the American system breaks. Interest rates in the US would explode overnight.
Yep.
Mortgage rates would hit 10, 12, 15%.
Yep.
The stock market, which is addicted to cheap money, would collapse.
Right.
The United States is currently trying to hold a gun to China's head. while China is holding the deed to the United States House. Mr. Besant knows this. He is a hedge fund manager. He understands leverage. He knows that you cannot declare war on your own banker.
Yep.
So while the news channels talk about how tough the U.S. is being on China, the reality is the opposite. The U.S. is trapped. They need China to fund their deficit, and China knows it. They are watching Mr. Besant sweat. They know that without their money, the American dream cannot pay its monthly mortgage.
Yep.
When you put these two stories together, Venezuela and China, you see the full picture of the collapse.
Absolutely. You see the full picture of the collapse. There you go. There you go.
For 50 years, the American superpower rested on two pillars. Pillar number one was the petrodollar.
Right, the
The
petrol.
deal
We
was,
just talked about that,
we
the
protect
petrodollar.
you and you price oil in dollars. That forced every country to hold dollars to buy energy. Venezuela has just proven that you can break that pillar and survive. Pillar number two was the hot treasury bond. The deal was, you give us your savings and
Yep.
we give you a safe return.
Yep.
China is now proving that the return is not safe and the savings are being weaponized. We are witnessing the end of what the French finance minister Valéry Giscard d'Estaing called the exorbitant privilege. For 80 years, the United States had a magic trick. They could print green paper
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of the world would give them real
Right.
things in exchange.
Right.
They printed paper and Saudi Arabia gave them oil. They
Mm-hmm.
printed paper and China gave them electronics.
Yep.
They printed paper and Brazil gave them coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It was the greatest economic deal in history, but the deal relied on trust.
Trust.
Trust that the dollar was neutral. Trust
Remember,
that the
remember I
dollar
just
was
told you
safe.
guys?
In 2020,
Everything is built, the whole financial system is built on trust. Once that trust has been lost, you're done. You're finished. You're done. Trust is extremely important.
2022, when the US froze Russian reserves, they broke that trust. They told the world, the dollar is not a currency, it is a political leash. And now the consequences are arriving. While Washington runs around trying to put out these fires,
Mm-hmm.
the BRICS nations are simply building a new plumbing system. We are seeing a massive
Yep.
shift to the bilateral trade.
We just talked
Brazil
about
is
that,
selling
remember?
food to China in yuan. India is buying oil from Russia in
Right.
rupees.
Right. The
We are
rupees.
settling our trades without touching the US banking system.
Yep.
The R5 project, real, ruble, rupee.
And that's what Venezuela is doing. It's doing trade without touching U.S. banks. And the U.S. is not having that. They're going around the U.S. dollar. And not only Venezuela is doing it, but everybody else, there's a lot of other countries are doing it. Let me see. Also, the U.S. also gave them bases to have for protection. Who are you talking about, Jay? You talking about Saudi Arabia? Yeah.
Renminbi, Rand, is moving from a theory to a necessity. We are not trying to destroy the dollar. The United States
Yep.
is doing a fine
Yep.
job of that by
Yep.
itself.
Yep.
We are simply building a lifeboat. The United States is entering a new phase. I call it the
You see them?
imperial liquidation. They are forced to make deals they hate. They have to tolerate Maduro. They have to tolerate.
Yep, I heard about that too. Yep. Yep, the president's ordered a blockade of all ships going from Venezuela. See, told you. I told you. It's getting ready to go down in Venezuela, man. It's getting ready to really go down in Venezuela. And this could spark off World War III. It's possible. Because they, see, like I told you at the beginning of this live, the U.S. knows how important Venezuela is. If they lose Venezuela, it's over. The petrodollar is gone. It's gone. It's over. Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. And that's why countries are saying we want to create our own. We want to create a new multipolar system. And they're doing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. If But you know what? You got Russia that's also there in Venezuela. So if they fight the Venezuelans, they're gonna be fighting the Russians too, and the Chinese. I thought so too. Look like World War III may start in Ukraine. If let me tell you something, if the U.S. attacks Venezuela and they go to war, you can kiss Colombia goodbye. Matter of fact, the Colombia Gulf Clan, the U.S. just told them that they are narco terrorists now, have been designated as a terrorist. Yeah, you can't forget about North Korea. Yeah, you can't forget about them. Yeah, if there's a full blown war in Venezuela, you can kiss Colombia goodbye. Because what's going to happen, well, that's going to be on another live. I'm going to explain that on another live. But what can happen if there's actually confrontation, I mean, physical confrontation, if there's actually, if they start hitting targets, if there's strikes in Caracas, and then you have a huge, Colombia is going to be dealing with a huge humanitarian crisis. That means you will have thousands of people crossing the border it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. If that happens, you can kiss Colombia goodbye. It would be very bad for me if that happens. That means I will never be able to see Cookie again. If so, it will be a very long time. Because one thing people don't forget more than economics is the loss of life. Matter of fact, I mentioned that on the Razor Rays live about what could be the repercussions of war with Venezuela to Colombia. People are like, I didn't know what I was talking about. Hey, I mean, now you can still be able to go to Colombia if the U.S. attacks Venezuela. No, you're not. Matter of fact, I don't know if you guys heard. I think it happened yesterday. There was a JetBlue commercial jet almost collided with a military plane in Venezuela airspace. I mean, they came within, it was very close. It's like the plane just flew right in front of them. I think that was like maybe a mile away. So the airspace is already becoming compromised. Yeah, it'll be gone. It would be gone. You think, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something. You remember that they really don't like us anyway? You remember they was talking about, the passport bros and how they was just talking about us that we come down there to exploit the women and all that stuff. You remember how they talked about us? And you could kind of tell they really don't like us really that much, but they tolerate us because of our money. If there's a large loss of life down there from a war, you will never be able to go back down there again. It's over. I hope I, I hope this doesn't happen like this. I really don't. I don't want war. I don't. There should be some way they can come together. It's like, okay, how can we fix this? But the U.S. gotta take that bullying mentality away, though. Yeah, they got to forget about that bullying. We bully too much. But yeah, World War III can start, and it could start in Venezuela. As a matter of fact, let me tell y'all this before I go. I am a published author. Some of y'all probably don't know. This book right here I wrote back in 2005. This book right here, you can find it. It's called Descent into Chaos. This book right here. You can find it on Amazon. I wrote this book in 2005. A lot of the stuff that we're watching today in 2025 is in here. I wrote it. I wrote this book. 2005, I predicted all the things that's happened in Venezuela was in this book. In this book. You can buy it from Amazon, or you can buy it off of Google Ingram Spark. This is the bigger format right here. The book is sci-fi, though. I just want to warn you. But it's dealing with a conflict, just what we're looking at right now. So check this book out. This will help the channel. This will help support me too. But this book has a lot of prophecy in it. Look what it has on the front cover. Check out the front cover. This is the one you can buy from Amazon right here. You can buy this book right off Amazon right now. And I predicted half of the stuff I predicted in 2005. I predicted this 20, let me see, that's about 20 years ago. I was looking right into the future what things could probably be at this time. It's in this book. Even though the book is fiction, but it has a lot of, I don't know, like I was just looking into the future or something. It's a picture of me right here on the book too. So, oh, I got one more thing to show you. I have a coloring book too if you like kids, if you got kids. Yeah, Happy Days coloring book. This is how it looks right here. You can buy this off of Amazon too. If you got kids for Christmas, you're home, get a coloring book with your kids. Spend some quiet time with them, okay? This is it right here. So, yeah, he goes on in the Democrats too, but it's not Democrat or Republican. The difference between, let me tell you the difference between Democrat and Republicans. They both sleep in the same bed, but just have different partners. That's all. That's all. That's why I don't support none of the other. Yep. So, okay, guys. We're going to jump off this live. Thank you all for liking and subscribing to my channel. And I will be back again. And man, this was a good live. Wow. Wow. I'm really pleased. I hope every live be like this. Like I said, I'm doing the wealth building on this channel for members. I'm going to start it off in January. Trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. You will not be disappointed. Okay? You can join my channel for $2 a month. That's cheap. I got 2 people that joined already. Chris and JD joined already. I mean, just think about it. You go to the liquor store, you go to the gas station and buy 2 bags of chips multiple times. You know what I'm saying? Which is over $2. I just bought a bag of bag of Cheetos at the store, $2.68. I mean, is it worth it? So, okay, I'm going to jump off, everybody. Yeah, have a blessed day, and I will see you again before Christmas. Peace, family, and thank you. Hit like and subscribe. Thank you. God bless.